Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Thought I'd do a little spot on the Neustrashimy, the tier 9 Russian premium ship you can get for coal. And yeah, I like this ship, it's interesting. Probably the strongest tier 9 DD, in my opinion, I would imagine. Certainly survivability wise, I mean with the zombie heal it's got, it's just incredible. So we're taking this Colombo under fire, me and my partner in crime here. And you know, Seafiles knows he knows he's going to die. He's just going to try and get some torpedoes into this Colombo. And I decide to follow up with a send at this point. My friend gets a couple of torps into him, and the Colombo's just kind of blindly charging forward. I'm in the smoke, perfectly safe at this point, obviously. And yeah, he takes 2 torpedoes, and yeah, I didn't get the kill. But you know, no surprise there. So I know that there's a DD in that smoke screen, pretty much. There's 3 targets over there, so there's nothing to lose by here chucking a few torps into that smoke. And we'll see what happens. Yeah, there's also a CV in the game, and he's going to hound the hell out of me. And I'm spotted, so they're all going to be taking shots on me, so a bit of manoeuvre in there just to avoid the shots from the Monarch. And yeah, the Kagero goes down to a torpedo and slam on the brakes, narrowly avoiding the midway torps. So God, these things are so slow. I don't know. And yeah, fast forward a minute or two, back into the cap, trying to get the cap back obviously. And a few shots out on the Congress, so he's going to go down. I mean, yeah, and the midway's coming back in for a drop, so I have to smoke up at this point. Didn't quite avoid most of them, but got into reverse to kind of avoid a lot of it. So I'm just going to spam HE on the Monarch now. Neustrashimy's guns are few in number, and they're a bit odd really, because the guns are so spaced apart. There's like 2 barrels at the front in one turret and 2 barrels at the back in another turret. And it's quite a long ship, so you get this kind of really wonky dispersion sometimes. But, you know, they are reasonably accurate, and you can consistently hit targets, even as they're manoeuvring, you know. So I don't really have a problem with the guns at all. And the Monarch goes down, which is lovely. Gonna get the cap back. And in this next sequence, I'm pushed into a Kremlin. I mean, my ultimate goal here was to try and take out the CV. The Kremlin turned into the early torpedo send there. CV's come back and chunks me down fairly heavily, but do you know what? It doesn't really matter in the Neustrashimy. And the Kremlin gets a really good shot on me as well, but again, smoke up, heal up, and I've just recovered, you know, nearly a quarter of my health again, probably a little bit more actually. So that, you know, the Kremlin's he's going to continue to push in, and you know, he's a braver man than I am. I don't think I'd be pushing into a Neustrashimy like this. Get a fire on him, and I'm kind of looking at that midway with envious eyes there. I want to get some torps into that guy. And he's still blind dropping me in the smoke with his bombers. So I know for a fact the Kremlin's like really close at this point, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to drive straight out of the smoke and get ready with the torpedo send, and I'm going to make sure I'm going to send both sets. And he does a shit ton of damage to me with his front guns there. And Will for Victory talent activated, which keeps me alive, thankfully. And yeah, the CV manages to take me out, but you know what? Not a bad outcome, 122,000 damage there. A couple of kills, and I took 751,000 potential, so yeah. This is another game, and I've got some torps out in the smoke again. Yeah, that happened. I killed the Akatsuki there in the smoke with torps. Same game, moving on a little ways, and yeah, I mean, in the Neustrashimy you've got no worries pushing into stuff at all. You can always use concealment, you've got your smoke screen to hand, and here we've got Algeria on fairly low health, so I'm quite happy to take a gunfight with him, to be fair. I mean, he can chunk me down, but I can heal back 20,000 damage, probably more. I'm not bothered. So I've used the heal, and then as you see, it's steadily climbing back up. And the Algeria goes down. So yeah. In this one, the hip is same game. Hip is driving into the cap. It is a complete shit show, by the way, this game. But I just wanted to highlight the fact that, you know, the Neustrashimy is incredibly survivable. In this bit, Schultz pops up, and we're in a cyclone. Calling target on the guy, but I don't think the ships behind can see him because of the cyclone. So I'll take a couple of shots. And lo and behold, the enemy Pommern turns up right in front of me, and smoke up. He hits me for a lot of damage, and again smoke up, some torps away, and trying to reverse out of his hydro range at this point, which I managed to do, which is fine. I get absolutely blacked there, and use the heal, and now I'm under radar from the Cleveland. So things are looking too shiny in this game. Just try to get a bit of damage into this guy, get rid of him if we can. At this point, you know, we've lost both caps, and it's not looking too rosy at all. Cleveland goes down, and I'm still taking a shit ton of damage here. In fact, I'm nearly taking 1 million potential at this point. It's 965,000 potential damage. So the Softseers drives straight up the map. Our Tirpitz isn't interested at all in getting involved in this game, which is a shame really, because I think we could have done something here. And the Brindisi turns up. I've got some torpedoes to avoid as well, so I'll turn into those and try and get some torpedoes out, or rather I do get some torpedoes out on the Brindisi. Avoid the incoming torps and try to get the hell out of dodge, because that sap's going to hurt, but got lucky there. Yeah, our Tirpitz is still in E10, really not interested. Managed to get a torp in the Brindisi, which is fine. So I've done a little bit of damage. Couple of kills. A bit later on, Karlsson shows up. Immediately smoke up. I'm on really low health. Get a few shots into him. And the Tirpitz is still following me. Not trying to actually achieve anything at all. I'm also thinking the Brindisi is still about right, so he could be coming around that corner, so torps away in that general direction. And Karlsson comes into view. He slams the brakes on. So that first salvo completely donks. Get another couple of salvos into the guy, and he's eventually he goes down. Now, yeah, the Brindisi is still in the Charlie Cap. He's just waiting, basically. And there's no way out here. I mean, our Tirpitz did nothing there and just went down to torpedoes, so nothing to do. But I've taken 1.2 million potential damage in that game and received 40,000 straight up damage. So yeah, this this tier 9 premium is survivable, very survivable. It's the most survivable DD in the game, in my opinion. Not for pure hit points, but it's recovery, you know, from what would seem devastating damage to a regular tier 9 DD. It's not in this ship. You can survive so much damage. It's just incredible. An Elbing pops up there on my left. I'm just trying to hold on to this cap. Typical scenario. There's a couple of DDs in the cap. Elbing. I think the Shimakaze was spotted a little bit earlier. There's a Howland out on the east. And I've got a radar ship in front of me in the form of the Riga. So I think in this scenario, all I'm really after doing is holding onto this cap for as long as possible. Not getting a great deal of support here, so it's quite important that I survive in this position for as long as possible. Vladivostok's pushing in, not quite sure what's going through his mind, to be honest. I'm just taking a few shots at targets of opportunity as they arise. Fire on that battleship back there, which is fine. At this point I'm thinking, what is this Vladivostok actually doing? Is he going to push straight through here? So it's an opportunity to get some fish into the water. Some both sets slightly overlapped, so they fit through the gap between the islands. And yeah, I think I don't think he's going to survive, do you? Only took 2 torpedoes to finish him off. Also, there's a CV in the game, so it's tricky. Elbing pops up, get a couple of shots into him. Switch targets to Riga, shoot on him. In fact, if I'd have been a little bolder there, I could have stayed in that position. I was unspotted when I was firing at the Riga there. My friend turns up, and he's got his hydro going. Gives me a little bit of confidence just to move out from behind the island. And the Otago's pushing in. So, get a couple of sends off in his general direction. One set just to on path, and then one if he decides to turn in. So See what happens here. And that's the radar from the Riga. So I'll just move out of the cap. And those torpedoes are looking quite sweet. So yeah, the torpedo armament on this ship is very good, however range limited to 10 kilometers. I mean, I think if it had 12 kilometer torpedoes, this would be the ultimate tier 9 DD, in my opinion. The torps hit pretty hard, you know. And at this point we're just consolidating our push into the delta cap here. And we've managed to hold off the enemy push. The Elbing pops up on the left and the Halland on the right. I decided to get a couple of shots into the Elbing here and see what's up. And yeah, managed to take him out, which is fine. The Halland's kind of driving straight into the middle of the cap, so I send a set of torps to the right hand side of the island. And it's a bit awkward because I'm kind of having to reverse to try and get some damage into this fella. So I managed to do that, and he's kind of distracted. He's turning his guns now, but it's a little bit too late. And I helped to take him out as well, which is fine. So yeah, it's one of those crazy games again. So at this point, I'm kind of thinking I could maybe chase a Kraken here. I've got 4 kills. I mean, I haven't done a great deal of damage, but I see the Benon coming out of the Alpha cap, and I'm pretty sure there's an Iowa down there, last spotted. So I'm going to turn into the middle of the map. The rest of the guys are going to drive north and ultimately secure Bravo cap probably. However, if you look at the points, I mean, this is a complete whitewash. And there's been so many games like this recently through summer. I think that's partially due to the fact that the recent recruitment drive by Wargaming, there's a lot of inexperienced players in the game at the moment. And also it's summer holidays. Now there's a lot of kids playing that maybe haven't got the smarts to figure out what they need to do at the right time. So I'm just kind of biding my time here because I want to get eyes back on this Ben, and I'm not going to smoke up because ultimately I want to see this guy, and I want to get some torpedoes into the Iowa as well. But he smokes up, well, continues to smoke. Iowa comes into view. I'm taking fire again, but do you know what? I'm just not bothered. I can tank the damage in this thing. So yeah, that was a 4-kill game to end this video. I didn't take too much potential in that game, but definitely held on to the cap there. I was pleased with that. Yeah, Neustrashimy is a good ship. I'd highly recommend it. And as always, guys, thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll catch you again soon. Alright, bye bye.